Call Materia Ture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, the problem, Simon O'Connor, is that it is a useless bill. And if it was effective, then we would be having a very different debate. And I do want to say, Mr. Speaker, that the Green Party, we really wanted to be able to support this bill. We supported it at first reading. We were looking forward to the government in particular seeing the evidence laid out before it that would show that a more comprehensive bill, maybe not what I want, maybe not exactly what I want, but something better would mean that children's lives and families' lives, would be saved and families would do better. Now, I'm not a Pollyanna, as the Parliament knows, but I always live in hope that Parliament will act courageously for New Zealand, because it does happen some days in this place. We do courageous and amazing things some days in this place, but clearly today is not one of those days, Mr. Speaker. Last week, in the debate on Andrew Little's Healthy Homes Insulation Bill, I set out the ethical argument, the moral pathway that we can take and should be taking to improve the quality of New Zealand's rental homes for children and families. That kōrero from last week was a popular one, sir, and it came from a very deep frustration that I have felt in dealing with this government bill on rental homes through the Select Committee process. So I was on the Select Committee, and Marama Davidson also heard some of those submissions. We, MPs from across this House, sat together over quite a few days and we listened as person after person, organisation, health centre, child advocates came to tell us how we could make a real difference in people's lives, how we could save lives. And not by grandiose, expensive gestures, sir, not by sweeping economic reforms that would take capitalism by its short and curlies and wrestle it to the ground, not by banning some social evil or by spending billions and billions of dollars on some social good. We could save lives by simply saying that we want our families to live in homes that are built for the 21st century. Not for 1978. That's simple. That's it. That's all that we needed to do. Genuinely all we needed to do. We want our friends and our families and our communities to live in warm, dry, safe homes built for the 21st century, not 1978. And we can have that. That's right, we can have that for everyone if we make a very small change to this law to say that our homes should have an insulation standard for today, not for 1978. Now, sir, 1978 was a long time ago. I'm sure you remember at least some of it. So what was happening in 1978? Well, I was 8 years old, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure you weren't much older. I was 8 years old. Rob Muldoon was Prime Minister in 1978. Precious McKenzie, do you remember him? He won gold at the Commonwealth Games in 1978. Ian Lees Galloway was born in 1978. It was a great year, So what were the standards that applied to New Zealand in 1978? What were the laws and regulations that applied in 1978? Well, in 1978, you could sell smokes to children in 1978. Not teenagers, but to little kids could go to the dairy and buy lollies and milk and smokes for mum and dad in 1978. Children under 8 years old didn't have to wear a seatbelt. Everybody else did, but not little children under 8. They didn't have to wear a seatbelt in 1978. In 1978, you could smoke anywhere you wanted, in bars and shops, on aeroplanes. No one cared, and few really knew about second-hand smoke and its effects then. In 1978, you could only divorce because of adultery, desertion or habitual drunkenness. You had to have criteria for divorce. Homosexuality was illegal in 1978. Corporal punishment was encouraged. The Māori All Blacks were still considered to be honorary whites when they toured South Africa. And in 1978, women women were regularly refused mortgages unless their husband or their father signed the mortgage documents. In 1978, women could not get mortgages under their own name. Now, sir, none of those standards apply today, do they? None of them would be considered the least bit acceptable today, like they were in except for Ian Lees-Galloway. He's cool. None of those standards, what was okay in 1978, is not okay now when you're talking about quality regulation that's about improving the health of families, communities and children. So why does Nick Smith insist on a 1978 insulation standard for New Zealand homes? Why does he... That is another part of the question. He does know that the 1978 standard will not save children from being sick, because he has in front of him research that proves it. According to the Otago University, Dr. Lucy Telfer Barnard, the modern standard of insulation reduces children's hospital stays by nearly 20% in private rental accommodation, sir. By nearly 20%. The modern standard will save 1 in 5 of the children who have to go to hospital in a winter because their home is cold and damp. The 1978 standard will see thousands of New Zealand children still going in and out of hospital getting sick. And for 15 of those families that see their children going in and out of hospital in a year, they will lose their child for good. 15 families will lose their child for good because they don't hear it. They don't hear it. The Children's Commissioner said that this bill was a broken promise to New Zealand's children. He came and told that to the Select Committee, to all the MPs there, who were there to hear the evidence about how we could do better. Children's Commissioner said it is a broken promise to children. And is that what this legacy of the national government is to New Zealand? A litany of broken promises to children, some of whom won't live to see the year out. Won't live to see the year out. We can do much better than that, Mr. Speaker. Now, I will be putting up a SOP, an amendment to this bill, when it next comes back to the House for debate. And this will show what New Zealand could achieve if we wanted to, what a comprehensive warrant of fitness would look like, and how it can make homes safer, warmer, dry and safer for children and their families. And yes, sir, it will. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, sir, it will certainly include sticky tape for glass visibility tape for glass doors. Yes, it will, my SOP. And you know why? Because 500 children a month are injured in this country from falling through windows and breaking through glass doors. 500 a month. That is the stat from ACC. Those 500 kids, their lives matter. They deserve to live in a safe home. The 40,000 odd hospital admissions, those children all deserve to live in a warm, dry, safe home that doesn't make them sick. The 15 families who will lose a child in the next 12 months, they deserve to live in a warm, dry home that won't make their children sick or die. Every one of those kids' lives matter. So let's make sure that their homes are warm and safe and dry. It is an easy thing for us to do. It's not going to cost the earth, so let's do it. Tonight, so let's just be a little more courageous for our kids and make no more broken promises. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for the applause, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Anticipation's a wonderful thing. Dennis O'Rourke.
Only